All right, so today we're diving into something that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Hmm.
Um, you know, how much control should employers have over their employees' social media?
Yeah, it's a big question.
And we've got Sylvia Ola's take on it. She's got a video and an article out there, and she's pretty strongly against companies like dictating what people do on LinkedIn and other platforms.
I think it's interesting, to think about what both sides might be missing.
Right.
Like, could employers be clamping down too hard?
Hmm.
Are employees maybe not seeing the opportunities that they have?
Right.
And what are the risks? Are there risks that neither side is really considering?
Yeah, so Ola uses this term infantilization of adults, which I think
Mhm.
is really striking.
Yeah,
Basically saying like treating grown-ups like they're kids.
yeah.
And she makes the argument that, telling people what they can and can't post on their own personal social media is kind of the definition of that.
Yeah, and if you think about the psychology of it, if somebody is telling you what you can and can't say, even in a space that you consider to be your own,
Hmm.
that's going to have an effect on how you feel at work.
Right.
It can stifle creativity. It can make people just less enthusiastic about their jobs.
And she gives these really concrete examples in her video. She's talking about companies telling employees what to post, like even making them use company banners on their own personal pages.
Wow.
And it's like, where does your own personal branding end and the company representation begin? It gets really blurry.
Yeah, and that raises the question, I think, of whose responsibility is this? Is this an HR issue? Ola argues that it's more a marketing and legal issue. If
Right.
your marketing department is doing its job, it should know how to use employee voices in a positive way.
Right.
And legal should be setting really clear boundaries about what's acceptable and what's not online.
And she makes this really great comparison to like TripAdvisor or those hotel review sites. Like we tend to trust those reviews more because they're from everyday people who've actually stayed at the hotel.
Exactly.
And it's the same with employees. Like their genuine voices can do so much to boost a company's reputation.
And it feels like a lot of companies are missing the boat on that. They're so focused on controlling the message that they're forgetting about the power of real, authentic engagement.
Hmm.
And, when they try to shut down employee voices, they're missing out on valuable feedback.
Right.
And honestly, it just comes off as kind of untrustworthy.
Yeah. And sometimes that desire to control can backfire in a big way.
Mm.
Ola tells this story about an employee who went on LinkedIn and posted about being bullied by their manager.
Oh, wow.
And then a whole bunch of other employees jumped in and shared similar experiences.
Mm.
So it exposed this systemic problem that the company was totally blind to.
Yeah, that's a perfect illustration of how trying to control the narrative can really backfire.
Right.
If you're so terrified of a few negative comments that you try to silence everyone,
Yeah.
you're not seeing the bigger picture.
So what does Ola suggest companies do instead of trying to control everything?
Well, she's got some pretty practical recommendations, actually.
Okay.
First off, make it super clear on your company's social media profiles that what employees say online doesn't necessarily reflect the company's views.
Like a disclaimer, kind of?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Uh, also include clauses and contracts about not damaging the company's reputation.
Hmm.
But at the same time, make sure employees have safe ways to raise concerns internally.
So address issues before they become like a viral post.
Exactly right.
Okay.
And, rather than these like blanket bans on social media activity,
Yeah.
focus on dealing with individual cases as they come up.
Mm-hmm.
Ola even makes this funny point that, companies should hold their own HR departments to the same standards.
Oh, interesting.
Make sure that their hiring practices are fair and non-discriminatory.
Yeah, it's like, don't just talk walks the walk, right?
Absolutely. And it all comes down to what kind of company culture you're creating. Do you want to work somewhere that encourages open communication or somewhere that relies on fear and control?
And going back to that story about the employee who was being bullied,
Mm-hmm.
I think Ola's really getting at this idea that if a company's more worried about one employee speaking out than they are about the actual problem, that's a sign of immature leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what a lot of companies miss is that employees who are really passionate about their work,
Mm-hmm.
they're often the ones who want to share their positive experiences online, too.
Right, it's free marketing.
It's like free marketing. It's like those hotel reviews again.
Yeah.
The more authentic, the more positive those reviews are, the
Right.
more likely people are to want to stay there.
Exactly.
So companies can leverage that same energy from their employees
Right.
to, attract talent, build trust with customers,
Mm-hmm.
and even identify areas where they can improve.
Yeah, so it's like instead of seeing passionate employees as a threat,
Mm-hmm.
Smart leaders should see them as an asset.
Exactly. And they should see those negative comments not as personal attacks, but as valuable feedback
Right.
that can help them grow.
It all comes back to trust,
Yeah.
right? Like companies need to trust their employees to be thoughtful and responsible online,
Yeah.
just like they would in any other professional setting.
Exactly. And employees need to trust that their company values their input and won't punish them for speaking out about genuine concerns.
Mhm.
I think Ola's right on the money when she says that this fear of negative comments
Yeah.
often comes from insecure leadership.
Interesting.
If a company's leaders feel personally threatened by open dialogue, then maybe it's time to take a look in the mirror.
Yeah, so this isn't really about social media at all.
Right.
It's about having open communication and mutual respect in the workplace.
You got it. And when you think about the missed opportunities for companies,
Yeah.
it's pretty mind-blowing.
It's like we keep coming back to this idea that, companies with really strong leadership and values, they don't need to be micromanaging what their employees are doing on social media.
Right. They're not scared of a little bit of, constructive criticism. They actually see it as an opportunity to learn and improve.
Yeah, and they get that trying to control every single thing that their employees do online just creates this culture of fear and distrust. Who wants to work in that kind of environment?
It definitely sends a message to potential employees, too. Like, nobody wants to feel like they have to, present this perfectly polished, company-approved version of themselves.
Right. It just comes across as inauthentic. People see through that.
For sure. So I guess the big question is, for our listeners today, what are the takeaways?
Yeah.
How do you navigate this whole tricky intersection of social media and what your employer expects?
It seems like the key is just, approaching social media with this sense of responsibility and respect from both sides.
Absolutely. Companies got to have clear guidelines, but they also got to trust their employees to make smart decisions.
Right. And employees need to be mindful of, their company's reputation, but also stay true to themselves.
Yeah. Finding that balance is so important for creating a positive and productive work environment.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're really getting at here. If a company is truly confident in its leadership and its values, it's not going to freak out over open dialogue on social media.
Right. It all boils down to trust and mutual respect.
And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.